If you joined us today and you're living with unrealized dreams, they might be supersized or small, but they keep circling back in your life. Today's episode may be the very thing you need to hear in order to realize your dreams and change your reality. Hi, friends. Welcome to the Jacqueline Social Exchange. I'm your host, Mary Daffin. Today, our special guest is Sharie Wilson. She's a trailblazer, visionary, mentor at the intersection of beauty, business, and personal growth. Sharie is a seasoned healthcare and health growth expert. She's a business coach, an influencer, and public speaker. As the owner of Dream Girls Hair Salon and Dream Girls Healthy Hair Care System and the Mixed Institute of Cosmetology and Barber School, Sharie finds herself at the forefront of making positive change in any community she visits. Welcome, Sharie.
You make me sound wow.
Well, you're amazing.
I'm just listening like, oh, okay.
You know, when you hear someone talk about your accomplishments, you start to realize you have accomplished quite a bit.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I do. Yeah. Yeah. Listening to someone else say it. Absolutely.
It kind of makes it real. Mm-hmm. And you're just doing it.
I'm just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we have talked quite a bit. We became friends about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Yeah. Yes, I can't believe it. Okay, and I know when people look at you, you're beautiful, you're fun, you're successful, you've got a thriving business, and they're probably saying, well, she hasn't walked the path I have. Mm. You know, she doesn't know what I've been through. And then I always think they don't know what you've been through. Mm-hmm. So can you share with our listeners some of the journey? I love your early years. And if you could start there, I think that really will tie into what you've accomplished.
Yeah. So I'm a little girl from South Central Los Angeles. My sister hates when I say South Central because we was raised in Crenshaw, Slauson area. So Los Angeles, south of Los Angeles. And I was raised with a mother and a father who worked extremely hard, had backgrounds that was kind of struggling. My dad was moved out to California with his mom, single mom, moved to the projects. My mother died at an early age. Her father died at an early age, and she was thrown into foster care at an early age. So you have two Black kids getting together, trying to make a better life for themselves. And so my mom and dad was married for almost 50 years before they both passed. But they always gave us a sound, like a steady, brought up, like I guess we was brought up in a good home. But it was hard. We saw them struggle. And I remember
there was
my mom.
Nothing extra.
It was nothing extra. We went to the store looking for the sale. My mom was that person that we went to the cash register and she gave them all, try this card. Okay, now try this card. Now try this card. And I just remember being that little kid watching my mom and said, I want a better life. And my mom and my dad wanted a better life for us. So middle-class family, but nothing extra. And, you know, my brother decided to go down the hill, got in trouble. My little brother went down the hill, got in trouble. My sister went up the hill, did very well for herself. And I was in that in between. And I chose to go down the hill too, you know. And so my life wasn't easy. I had struggles. I made decisions on my own that led me into difficult situations. But at 16, I remember my sister pulling me and said, not you. We're not losing you. And so I had to make a decision, and I just started dreaming, and I started visioning, and I started seeing my life different. And
now, is this the sister you're in business with?
yeah, my big sister. Yeah, okay. It's 5 of us. One of my brothers passed, and my sister is 5 years older. And she's always been my inspiration. Always been my inspiration. And I remember telling you a story about I had an uncle And he would come into the house all the time. And everybody wanted to have the life of this uncle. He was in sales. So my mom and dad would be at work, working hard. My dad would come and sweaty. My mom would come home tired. But my uncle would be driving around in these nice cars, popping in, bringing us tacos with a suit on. And he was in sales. And so I always wanted to be like him. But he would walk into the house and point out my sister and call her Moneybanks. Hey, Moneybanks. And I used to look up like, please call me that. Please call me that. And so that was something that wasn't said to me, but motivated me. So one day somebody can look at me and say, hey, Moneybanks, So
Did he refer to you in an affectionate way, or did you have a nickname?
No, I was just Makia.
Okay.
But my sister was Moneybanks. And when he saw her, he lit up. And so I always tell people, sometimes it's not what people say. Sometimes it's what they don't say to you that cause trauma as well.
The unspoken.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was one of my fires that lit me, because I wanted to be like my sister, and I wanted people to see me as my sister, right? And so she was my motivation. But at the same time, the people who saw the light in her and who did not see the light in me, that was the fire that made me just go hard.
So it took one person, basically your sister, to say, I believe in you.
Oh, yeah. And my mom.
Your
and
mom?
My dad. Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely. But my sister was the active one, like, come on, let's go. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Older sisters can do that.
Oh, yeah.
I have an older sister, and I was more afraid of her opinion of me than my mom's.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to do right by her. Mm-hmm. So I can totally understand that. Mm-hmm. So you're 16 years old. Your sister is pulling you out of the muck and saying, no, we're not going to lose you.
Oh, gave me a complete makeover. Because I used to wear jeans, baggy jeans, white T-shirts, Chucks, and I used to try
that.
But the activities wasn't good, because
Okay.
I was trying to be like my oldest brother, who went to jail for 30 years. And I just followed his footsteps. Bad, always fighting, always taking up for other people, always looking out for the underdogs. So I was just out there doing things that I had no business doing. And I remember my sister grabbing me. And for my 16th birthday, she gave me a complete makeover. She colored my hair blonde. She put some fitted clothes on me. Just made me look like a girl. And I never went back. Never went back.
It is the power of dress.
Yes.
We are going to do a podcast on that, because I totally believe in it.
Yeah.
So you're 16, you have this wake-up call. Then how did you get into the beauty industry? This episode is sponsored by Miro Pictures, a creative and consulting agency dedicated to transforming stories into powerful narratives and helping your brand stand out in a competitive market. Elevate your brand today by visiting miropictures.com. That's MERO pictures.com.
Well, my sister did hair. Mm-hmm. So my mom and my dad built my sister we had like a back room. They used to call it like the rumpus room. And my mom and dad turned that space into my sister's little apartment. And so my sister would do hair after school, and she was like 5 years older. So she went to college, and she would go to work, come home, and do all my friends' hair. And she would just charge them $25, $35, $40. And when she realized that, little sister can help, I would help. I would wash, I would shampoo, I would blow dry. And then when she realized that I knew how to flat iron, I did everything. So I was wash, blow dry, flat iron, and then she'll come home, curl the hair, put her hands in it, and take all the money.
Take all the money.
And my payment was to get my hair done once a week. Oh. That was my payment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great big sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're in business with her today.
I'm in business with her today. And she takes full responsibility for me being a great hairstylist.
Of course
because of those days she didn't pay me.
I love that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about your business today, because it is a far cry from a backroom operation.
Absolutely. And we didn't want to do hair.
No?
We never saw hair as being a professional career.
Is
So
that in your family you didn't, or your sister?
in my family,
Okay.
me and my sister, in our community, it was always push. You go to school, you go to college, you get a degree, and you go work for someone, and you get your retirement, and you'll be good. And so it was, they always looked at hair as being like a side hustle. You do that on the side to make extra money to get to where you need to be. And I remember my sister did it on the side. She went to college, she graduated. I ended up going to Cal State Northridge, and I ended up leaving, and I ended up moving to Sacramento. And I would still do hair, and I started working for a company called Cintas, and I was in sales and customer service. And I just remember working 9 to 5 every day and coming home doing hair, because everybody was like, who did your hair? Who did your hair? And I was from Los Angeles, and everybody wanted press. And I was like, I do hair. So I would come home every day from 6 to 1 o'clock in the morning doing hair. And I started counting my money. And I said, wait, I'm making more money doing hair in the evening than I am working my 9 to 5. And I just remember calling my mom, and I was like, Mom, I think I want to do hair. And all I needed was her okay. And she was like, do it. From there, it's all she wrote. I ended up becoming an apprentice at a salon called Another Look.
Is that here in Sacramento?
Uh-huh.
Is
And
it still?
It's still here.
Oh, wow.
They're actually my business partners.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah. So I started off being one of their apprentices, and they mentored me, and they saw the light in me, and they saw how I was marketing. And after I left them, like 1 year later, they said, do you want to be partners? We're opening up the first African-American owned cosmetology and barber school in Sacramento. And I said, absolutely. And so we're partners. We've been open now for 11, 12 years.
And that's mixed.
That's mixed.
And
Yeah.
I do want to talk about that, but not right now, because I think it's so exciting what you're doing there. Okay, so you're doing, you're cutting hair, you're doing weaves, you're well into established business. And then you take a turn and you start a product line. And that's a big jump.
Yeah.
So what made you take that jump?
I say it's God led, because I always knew what I wanted it to be. When I told my mom that I wanted to do hair, I said to myself, I promise you're not going to just be another hairstylist. You're going to take this thing to another level. It's going to be like a big corporation. I just remember saying that to myself. Like, if I do this, I'm not just going to be a regular hairstylist. And I just think because I said it, and I believed that it was going to be something more, God just started creating a path for it. And I knew that when I opened my salon, I wanted to make sure I had a receptionist. I wanted to make sure I had products. I wanted to make sure I sold hair. I wanted to make sure that when clients left my salon, they had something in their hands to help take care of their hair, for the duration of them not being with me. And so I would buy other people's products, sell it in my salon. And me and my sister started getting really heavy into hair extensions. But what we started noticing is that when people would take out their hair extensions, their hair was thin. And we was like, what's going on? So I started studying. My sister started studying, and we started using our hair as an example. And what we realized that it's in the products. It's in the takedown. It's in the details of how your hairstylist is really caring for your hair. And so we just start doing things in our salon with our clients, and people will start coming from all over because we start posting. This is when social media just got started. And so we would take pictures, because we was big with showing our clients where you started and where you're at now.
You still do that.
We still
because I
do
follow
that.
you.
Yes.
And it is amazing.
Yeah.
Your work is amazing.
Thank you.
It is amazing.
Yeah. And so the results just was there. And then we had a lot of pushback. Oh, they're lying. That's Photoshop. That's not their hair. It's no way. Our hair don't grow that fast.
So your own community did not believe
no.
because of the results that you were getting.
They thought it was fake. They thought we had fake tracks hidden. They thought it was Photoshop. And because of the negative feedback, we blew up. And then we start having people calling our salons, LA and Sacramento. I want to be on a 12-month program. I want to be on a 15-month program. We was like, program? And my sister was like, I think we're on to something.
Program? What program?
Like, like everybody starts talking about program. And so that's our clientele actually named the Healthy Hair Program, because they start just calling us asking for the program. And so we started doing more and more and more, and everybody started seeing results. And then we started traveling. People wanted us on the East Coast and down south. So we started doing pop-ups in New York. At that time, my mom and my dad, it was like 2016, 17, my mom was really sick. My dad was really sick, and we couldn't travel as much. We had to be home with them. And so I decided to go ahead and figure out, how do we package this? I had a friend, again, God led, right? I always say you pray and you tell God what you want. And as long as it aligns, then he will make sure, he will navigate that thing. And he sent a friend, one of my old friends, to my home one weekend. And my friend said, what are you doing? Where's the product? And I said, I keep thinking about it, but I just don't know how to get it started. And he said, come on. We went to the Whole Foods store. He said, what do you use? I said, peppermint, rosemary, da-da-da-da. And he started grabbing everything, went to the checkout. We checked it out, went to my kitchen, and turned my kitchen into a laboratory. And he was like, okay, this is what I'm going to tell the oh my God, what is it called? Somebody who creates your products. I just went blank. But this is who I'm going to tell what we want in our product. And he took everything, took all the notes that I gave him, found us a lab in Los Angeles, and they pretty much helped us create our products, sent me samples, and I was like, yeah, this is it.
And what year was this?
This was in 2019.
Okay, so right before COVID.
Right before COVID. So it took us about a year. Well, no, it took us about 6 months. And then I remember getting the bottles. Like, we started designing the bottles. We finally got the formula. Everything was perfect. And then we was planning our launch party in New York, Los Angeles, and Sacramento. And so we had the date, and then COVID. And we was like, okay, what's happening? Everything started getting shut down. And I remember my sister, well, let me just go back. Prior to that, we was like, okay, we don't have all the capital for this, right? We had to buy bottles. We had to buy caps. We had to get the formula made. And my sister said, you know what? Let's just do a 3-day sale, a pre-sale. And I'm like, a pre-sale? What do you mean? She said, we would do a pre-sale. We would put everything on sale, and then we would let them know they would be the first ones to actually receive our products. So she said, let's do it on a Friday. We'll end it on a Sunday. We did that, and we ended up doing $30,000 in 3 days. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
And that was, we needed that money.
Did you need $30,000?
It was perfect. It was just enough. Mm-hmm. We sent the money to everyone who needed it, and we got our products like 6 weeks later, and we shipped it out. And then we finally was about to go and do a launch, and then COVID happened. And my sister said, you know what? We're not going to wait. We can't do something live. Let's go ahead and push it online. So we end up pushing it online, and the first 6 months we did $1 million. We closed out that year at $2.5 million. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. That money is amazing, mm-hmm. that kind of revenue. But also, COVID closed down the industry, but it helped you on the online sales.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Like, that timing, you could not have asked. Like, you look at it and it looks dismal, but there was a bigger plan in place for you.
It's what the Bible speaks about, right? Things that are meant for evil, God will somehow turn it around for your good, for those who love the Lord. That's what the Bible speaks
Amen.
About. And so he turned something around that was so devastating to our world.
Absolutely.
And he made a little bit of goodness in there for us. And we just ran with it. And the people needed it because hair is everything to people. If your hair is not good, like look at you, your hair is fly.
Thank you. I took a lot of care today because I knew you were going to be here.
But your hair just makes you, like if your hair is off, you're off.
Your hair is, for me, is my identifying quality. Like people know me by my hair. They'll say, oh, the girl with the white hair or the white short hair. But they always identify me by my hair. It is. It's super
It's
important.
everything. So imagine how many people could not go to their hairstylist.
I was one of them.
Already depressed because what's happening? We don't know what's going on. Is the world shutting down? Is this the end? Like no one's knowing. And then they're looking in the mirror and their hair's not done. Or their hair is now falling back out. And so for us to be able to do consultations online, talk to people on FaceTime, have Zoom calls, still help them through the process, it was everything. It was essential. And so, it just...
Do you look back on that time and go, God, that was so special?
Oh, it was.
Even though the world was we were in disarray, but there was what do they call it? Like an element of light in darkness. And that was it.
And a closeness too, because you had to be home. You had to turn around and look at your kids. You had to sit with your kids. At that time, you had to educate your kids, and it was just a time where we was able to really reflect what was important and how important our women are when it comes down to depression and how they felt and how they start dealing with inner things that they never really had to deal with before because life was moving, but now life is not moving. So now I have to sit here and deal with me. And so being able to have Zoom calls about hair, but really pour life into our clients was everything.
A hairstylist is much more. I mean, you're a counselor.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we are.
You know all the secrets. People sit down in your chair and they're telling you things they can't believe they're telling you. You touched on something, kids. And we've had conversations about raising children when you are building a business. And I do think as women, we put so many expectations on ourselves. So can you talk about that for our viewers?
Yeah.
Just the balancing act.
I didn't know nothing about balance.
Are there for the lack of.
Listen, when I first started, it was so much, let me win. I just want to be successful. I want to make my mom happy. I want to make my dad proud. And I want to prove everybody who said I wasn't going to be anything wrong. So that was my motivation. In the meantime, I was still having kids after kids. After kid after kid.
And you have four children, right?
I birthed 4. I raised 7.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I raised 7. Actually, I raised more than 7. I raised 10. But my boys are the ones that's really close to me, all of them. And so just not being really present with them at their younger age because I was moving. I always had someone at home helping me with the kids. I always had tutors. I always had other people coming in, but I was so infused with building a business and being successful for them too. I wasn't as present at home like I should have been, I think. And I hate to say should have been because I don't think it's no right or wrong way. And I think at times now I'm present. I'm with them. And I think these are the years that's really important because I have teenagers. They have girlfriends. They're making life decisions now.
That make a difference for their life.
Exactly. And I'm more present now. Do I wish I could have been more hands-on? Yeah, but will I be where I'm at today? I don't know. But what I do know is that I learned a lot, right? I learned how to be with them now, how to sit with them now, how to listen to them now. And I've done a lot of, I apologize also with them. And I also tucked away some money for therapy because I'm pretty sure they're gonna need that too.
We always say.
I always tell my kids, listen, I tucked away some money for therapy for you guys. But hopefully the work that I'm doing with them now at their age, I have 16 to 24. At 24, I wasn't doing the work. I was making decisions from a little kid standpoint. Like I always say that in my life, as an adult, I was allowing that hurt little Makia, that hurt little 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old to make adult decisions because I was reacting from my pain and my trauma. And so,
I want you to repeat that because I think that is so profound and I think people need to hear it. So can you just repeat that? And I do want viewers to really grasp onto that.
Yeah. So I have kids now, 16 to 24. And I'm like really try to get them to understand what trauma is and doing the work now. And I feel I didn't start doing this work until 2019, 2020,
COVID.
like right when COVID. Yeah. When I was forced to sit down and see me. Right. And what I realized by going through counseling and therapy is that a lot of decisions that I was making from a little kid's standpoint, like their eyes view, because I never went past, I never healed. And they say sometimes when you go through certain traumas, right, you're stuck at that age. So when something happened to me or when a man said something to me, I didn't react or I didn't respond from an adult. I responded from that hurt 9-year-old or that hurt 10-year-old.
Or your 16-year-old
or my
self.
16-year-old.
That's what we say.
Or even 14-year-old. Mm-hmm. But a lot of my trauma, I feel, happened when I was younger. Because, I used to have teeth that went every which way but the right way, per one of my uncles. I remember him saying, girl, your teeth don't know which way they want to go. And so that hurt me, right?
Well, they think they're being funny and they have no idea.
They have no idea. And so I remember, people saying, girl, be quiet. Stop talking. You can't even pronounce your words. What are you saying? You can't even talk. And so those different things caused me to really become angry and also shut down, And so for a long time, I didn't speak at all. I don't even think I really started talking like really out loud until I was probably 12, 14, 15. In my grade school, I used to try to get in trouble so I could leave out of the classroom so the teacher wouldn't call on me because I had a learning disability, right? I had a speech impediment. And so those different things really cause hurt, trauma. And then I used to look at my mom and like, take up for me. My brother's talking about me. My sister's talking about me. Everybody's talking about me. Take up for me. And so, and my mom, she's like, girl, that ain't nothing. That's what siblings do, right? Mm-hmm. And so I realized even getting into relationships, I wanted somebody just love me. Just tell me anything. So I picked wrong. Twice, so, and not only and I don't push blame on the people that I was with. I take full accountability and responsibility because now I can do something about it. Right. So going back and healing that little girl, I literally had to look at I have my picture of my little girl on my nightstand right now. And so when things come up, I just look at her and be like, Makia, I got this now. And then I go and I do the work, and then I'm learning to respond as an adult. I'm learning to respond from Sharie and not allowing Makia to rise up and take over. Yeah.
What an amazing journey. We when we spoke before the interview, there was the old adage, sticks and stones can break your bones, but words will never hurt you.
Oh, words hurt.
And they are, I think, as detrimental as a stick or a stone, maybe even more so. And when you talk about your story, our mothers were very similar, very similar. And it was always like, that shouldn't hurt you, so suck it up. And it was probably because they were raised that way. And how are you doing it? I hear that you're doing it differently for your children, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So can you talk a little bit about how you're doing that differently? Any examples?
Just listening. Like, my mom was a great listener once we got older. Like, she was me and my sister cheerleader. But creating a space to where I'm able to listen to them and then also apologize. So something came up, and I remember that I cut my son's hair. So, I was raised in that back in the days where I think we're a little bit stronger. I always say, like, if you was born in the 60s, you're strong. If you was born in the 70s, you're really strong. If you was born in the 80s, yeah. If you born in the 90s and 2000s, you weak as hell. Okay, you're just weak. You can't. You touch you screaming. And so I think the way my mom was raising us, we was already strong. And I have duplicated what my mom did to me, to my kids. And my kids was raised in 2000s, like 2001, between 2001 and 2009.
So they're not the norm.
They're kind of soft, a
are
little
they?
bit.
Okay. But don't you think?
But because of society, because of social media, because of what's being put into them, they're soft, And so I had to learn that I can't just take my child into a barbershop and for his punishment, cut off all his dreadlocks. That hurt them. I did it twice. And one day as I was sitting, I was like, that was wrong. Like, I just duplicated what my parents did. I brought you into this world. I take you out of this world. Oh,
I heard that a million times.
You do what I tell you to do. I'm the boss. I make the decisions.
Children are to be seen
and not heard.
Exactly.
And so when I did that, it was brought back to me, like, as I'm sitting and meditating and just talking to God, God had to point out, remember when you did that? Remember when you did that? And so I remember just going to my kids and I had to apologize. It was a group of them, all of them in a room. And I said, I want to apologize for cutting your hair. That was part of your identity. That was something that you took personal. And I took that from you. And I apologized. And I remember my son looking at me and said, Mommy, it's okay. It's okay. And so I keep apologizing about it. Like, I just want them to know it wasn't just a one moment. Like, I apologize. And so I'm always apologizing. And now I'm listening more, right? And I'm being slow to respond. Like, some things I just want to be like, don't do that. Da, 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 da. Sometimes I just sit in it. And then I just offer a different way. What about this way? What about that way? And now I have my kids calling me. One of my kids went and got a tattoo. And he was going to get something on his neck. And his girlfriend was telling him, yeah, get it right here. And he said, well, let me call my mom. And I said, he said, Mom, I want to get ALL for my initials. Where should I put it? And I said, don't put it anywhere where you can't hide it. And he said, I thought so, Mom. He said, I'm going to put it on my arm. And I said, good choice. He said, because Kamaya told me I should put it on my And I said, what? But he was able to call me and get my opinion.
He
right?
had the freedom.
He had the freedom. And I created that space. And so I just want to I just want to continue to create spaces for my boys to just come and be able to talk to me about anything.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
So having known you for a couple of years, you have changed. You've come into this new season, and there's a softness to you that I'm seeing for the first time. The first time I saw you, you came into the club, to the Jacqueline, and you had on these leather shorts. I'll never forget because I wanted them. And you just looked like kind of like a badass, you know. It looked good. Don't get me wrong. But there's something that's changed, and it's lovely. So,
Yeah.
And I understand. And if we don't talk about this, it's fine. But I do understand that you're dating.
I'm back in the dating scene, but I have paused to take time to date myself. So yeah, I'm dating myself right now.
So explain to our viewers what that means.
Well, Mary, I went into a marriage first of all, when I was a teen, right, I had one serious relationship, and then I went into another serious relationship back to back, right? And so I remember my teenage relationship. I went from him, 19, I was with him from 17 or 16 to 20. And then I went directly from 20 meeting somebody else and then marrying that man, right? And then I was married to him for 10 years. Mind you, no breaks. And I'm a kid.
You are a kid at that
Did
point.
not know nothing about nothing. Never sat down, never dealt with my trauma, never dealt with my insecurities, never dealt with anything. So then I was married to him for 10 years, more trauma added on top of me, right? And then I had the courage to leave. And then I went right into another marriage, literally, right?
Because it's what you knew.
Because that's what I knew. And so I married someone else. And then I was with him for 12, 13 years, the husband that you met. And so I want to do something different. So I have paused. I started doing the work towards the end of our marriage, and I'm still doing the work. And so I always say this is the detour that I wasn't expecting. And so in this detour that I wasn't expecting, I really sat down because it threw me off. Like I went into depression. I sat in the house. I even had suicidal thoughts. Okay. It was hard. And I had to sit with me and ask me, Sharie, who are you? Who are you? And I had to have tough conversations with me. I had to have tough conversations with the little girl inside of me. And I thank God that I had great therapists. I had great friends. But it was times where it was just me and God, like really going back and forth. And I decided, you know what? I'm not doing this again. If this is where I'm landing, where this is over with me and him, I'm going to take time to figure out who are you? Who are you, Sharie? Who is God? Who has God created you to be? And really fall in love with the God inside of me and fall in love with me. So then when the right person comes my way, I can truly identify if he's the one or if he's a counterfeit. And I don't have I'm 46 years old. My next half of my life, I want to be peaceful. I want to be joyful. I want it to be, I want to do the things I love to do, which is help people, pour into people. And the only way to do that is to heal her. And that's what I'm doing. I'm healing her and I'm getting to know who she is and falling completely in love with her.
Well, I think she's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm thinking back to in this room, probably a year ago, you did a Jack's talk for us. And you spoke to our members, the members of your club, and you told them your story. And do you remember I sat on the front row and you started to talk and I was like, okay, you teared up a little bit. And I remember looking at you and going, well, I don't cry. I don't have any hormones. And by the end, I was a mess.
Yeah.
I was crying because I identify so much with your story and the little girl, and I know other people did. I just think there's such power in a personal story.
Yeah, it is. And being authentic and being willing to share, because before I probably would have just went through this and never shared. I think especially with the platform that God has given me and people looking at me thinking I have everything together, it's so important for me to be transparent and also authentic. And I want people to know, like, my life has not been easy, but I still chose to keep pushing forward. Like the last 2 years has been one of the hardest years of my life, but I've kept going. Like people would never know. I still threw events. I still threw successful events.
Your Juneteenth event was magnificent.
Thank you. And thank you for all your help as well. But yeah, people would never have known because I still got up and did what I had to do. And just because you see someone getting up and doing what they have to do does not mean they're not suffering. They're not going through hurt. They're not going through trauma. They're not going through pain, but they're choosing to get up and keep pushing through. So in this phase of my life, especially on social media, I just heard God say, share more. Share more. I need you to share more. And I had a young lady that drove all the way. Well, she flew out from Cleveland. She had to come out to San Francisco to take care of some work. She drove all the way to Sacramento to give me some flowers, to tell me that the last couple of weeks of my posting have helped her so much. And so I'm like, just being obedient to what God is calling me to do and doing it. I'm unapologetic about it. This is life. We're all going to hit bumps that we did not expect, but those bumps are there for a reason. And if I didn't go through what I went through these last 2 years, I would not be the softer version of Sharie today. Because back then I felt like I needed to be that. I needed to be that armor on. I had to have that wall up. I had to be strong. I had to be that boss. No, I am Sharie. I am a soft little goofy little girl. And I like the softer edge. And I like the being so transparent and sharing with other people that, I didn't get to where I'm at because I had it all together. I got it because I never stopped trying. Every time I got knocked down, I just got back up. I just kept getting back up. And then I realized when to blow out that fire that lit me. We talked about that. I always talk about the shuttle, like when they go into space, they have that fire that they need to get them up in the sky. But at a certain point, they have to release. They have to detach, because that same fire that lit you can be the same fire that blows you up, that destroy you. And so I had to realize when to blow out, when to release, so I can keep going. Because if not, it's been times where I've looked up and I'm like, if I don't let this go, it's going to destroy me now. It got me started. It got me pushed. It got me motivated. It got me inspired. It got me wanting to do more. But now if I keep allowing the same thing to light me, it's going to kill me. Yeah.
But
physically.
Physically, absolutely. Yeah. So you use the word detour. And so now I want to talk about what's in store for you and share that. And you use the word detour. So can you tell our viewers what's coming ahead?
You know what? I am just being obedient to what God has in store for me. I know it's big. I know, because my God is big. I know it's big. I'm coming out with a book. It's called The Detour. The Detour I wasn't expecting. And then I have a few speaking engagements. So I'm speaking more. I have a product line that I'm relaunching again. We had to do a little facelift, makeover. So we have new bottles and a few more items that we're adding to our inventory. So we're super excited about that. And we're looking to expand our cosmetology, barber, esthetician, nail tech program. So it's so much. I just want to be led. Like, God, you lead me, because I know if you lead me, you got me. And so I don't want to go anywhere where he's not leading me.
So the doors are being opened.
Oh, the doors are absolutely being opened.
So what would you tell the little 6-year-old girl today?
Let me tell you what I tell her every day when I look over at my nightstand. I tell her, I got you. I got you. Trust me. Trust me as I trust God, but I got you. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you leave our viewers with any words of wisdom or maybe a mantra that you live by, what would that be?
It would be two. My sister always say, just do it. Just do it. You may fall. It may be wrong. Just do it. You will never know. And then what I tell people all the time when I meet them, all my bartenders, all my waitress and waiters, you are everything, and everything is you. And I say that to myself all the time, like, Sharie, you are everything and everything is you. And I say that to everyone I come encounter with. So people already know. I'll be like, you are everything. And they turn around and everything is you. So that's what I would tell my viewers, that they are everything and everything is them.
Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for being a founding member of the Jacqueline.
Oh,
I mean, you really took a leap of faith. I remember you came in, we did not have our act together, and you said, yes, I'm going to give you a try.
Yeah.
And we will never forget that.
This, you know what, the Jacqueline is a space where it's not all women, but it's a lot of women. And we come here for connections. We come here to have authentic relationships and be able to be ourselves and release. And I think you guys create that. Even creating a platform for me to share my story, right? The Jacqueline really, really is a necessary place for Sacramento, especially for women. And so I thank you. And I thank you for, being so detailed with every part of this, Yeah.
It's for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending your time with us today and getting to know Sharie Wilson a little more. We hope that you realize all of your dreams. If you'd like to follow us, please do so at thejacqueline.com. Jacqueline is spelled JACQUELYN. And if you're on Instagram, we're thejacqueline.official. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.